Most people are living a lie of gradualism. They tell themselves that change is a slow, agonizing crawl that takes decades of trying. They use the concept of patience as a psychological sedative to numb the pain of their own stagnation. But you are beginning to see the truth. Time is a variable, not a constant. You don't need 20 years to change. You need a concentrated window of absolute, blinking intensity. You are here because you have decided to declare a 6-month war on the person you currently are. This is not self-care. This is not a wellness retreat. This is a total system overhaul. You are giving yourself 180 days to incinerate your old habits, collapse your old social dependencies, and build a foundation so dense that the world won't recognize the person who emerges on the other side. To change everything in 6 months is an act of strategic violence against your own mediocrity. You are shrinking the timeline. What most people take 10 years to achieve through accidental growth, you are going to force into existence through a high-pressure vacuum. You are entering a blackout phase, a period where the noise of the world is muted, where the opinions of the crowd are irrelevant, and where your only relationship is with the work. You are moving from a state of diffusion to a state of laser focus. You realize that 1,000 hours of focused effort in 6 months is worth more than 10,000 hours of distracted effort over a lifetime. You are here to stop participating in your life and start engineering it. This journey requires you to adopt the architecture of the 180. You are not looking for improvement, and you are looking for a reversal. If you are lazy, you will become a machine of discipline. If you are broke, you will become a strategist of value. If you are overlooked, you will become a person of undeniable presence. This is for the individual who is finished with the slow burn and is ready for the explosive rebuild. We are going to map out the physics of the transformation, the psychology of the blackout, and the mechanics of the new sovereign self. The clock starts the second you stop making excuses. You have 180 days. Every second is a brick. Every hour is a flaw. The demolition is over. The high-speed construction begins now. Chapter 1. The Blackout Protocol. You have officially declared war on your current reality. But a war cannot be won while you are still negotiating with the enemy. The old you is the enemy, and its primary weapons are distraction, social obligation, and the constant noise of a world designed to keep you mediocre. To change everything in 6 months, your first move is not action, it is isolation. You must initiate the Blackout Protocol. This is a strategic withdrawal from the global grid of consensus. Most people fail to change because they try to do it while remaining available to the very environment that created their problems. They try to diet while hanging out at the bakery. They try to build a business while attending every happy hour. They try to focus while their phone is a digital IV drip of other people's opinions. The Blackout Protocol is the immediate surgical severance of these ties. You are not disappearing. You are recalibrating in the dark. The first layer of the blackout is social silence. You must realize that your current social circle is the primary guardian of your old identity. They know you as the person who fails, the person who procrastinates, or the person who is just like them. Every time you interact with them, you are subconsciously pressured to perform that old role. To change everything, you must become a ghost in your own social life. You stop explaining your plans. You stop seeking support from people who aren't where you want to be. You stop announcing your goals. The energy you usually spend talking about what you're going to do is the energy you need to actually do it. In the blackout, your results are your only communication. If people ask where you've been, let them wonder. Silence is the incubation chamber of greatness. And by removing the audience, you remove the need to perform. You are finally alone with the work, and the work does not care about your excuses. Consider the digital quarantine. Your brain is currently a junkyard of spam, the outrages of strangers, the curated highlights of influencers, and the endless scroll of dopamine-depleting nonsense. This is cognitive pollution. You cannot engineer a new life if your internal operating system is cluttered with trash. The blackout protocol requires a radical information fast. You silence the notifications, you delete the time-wasting apps, and you unfollow the accounts that trigger comparison or envy. Now you are reclaiming your attention sovereignty. You move from being a consumer to being a strategic producer. You only allow information into your mind that has direct utility for your 180-day mission. If it doesn't build your body, your bank account, or your brain, it is noise. By clearing the digital fog, you discover a terrifying amount of mental space that you previously didn't know existed. You are no longer busy, you are focused. The second layer of the blackout is the physical sanctuary. Your environment is a physical script that dictates your behavior. If your space is cluttered, your mind is cluttered. If your desk is covered in distractions, your work will be distracted. To change everything, but you must reset the stage. You perform a material purge, you get rid of the relics of the old you, the clothes that don't fit the new identity, the half-finished projects that represent past failures, and the junk that anchors you to a lower frequency. You create a minimalist strike zone. Your environment should be sparse, functional, and focused. It should look like a laboratory for a person who is building a future. When you walk into your space, the atmosphere should immediately trigger a state of operational intensity. There is no room for comfort here. There is only room for the mission. You are turning your home into a fortress of intent. Furthermore, you must master the internal blackout. This is the most difficult part, silencing the old voice that lives in your own head. In the early stages of the 6 months, your ego will scream for the old comforts. It will tell you that you're being too extreme, that you're missing out, or that this won't work. This is the extinction burst of the old self. It is the sound of a dying habit. To maintain the blackout, you must develop a clinical detachment from your own feelings. You don't negotiate with the voice, you simply observe it and return to the protocol. You realize that your feelings are just chemical weather patterns, they are not commands. By refusing to give the old narrative any oxygen, you starve it into submission. You are becoming a person of action over emotion. You do what needs to be done because it is on the schedule, not because you feel like it. This isolation creates a pressure cooker effect. When you remove the exits, the social escapes, the digital distractions, and the emotional excuses, the energy has nowhere to go but into your strategic objectives. This is how 180 days becomes a lifetime of growth. You are focusing the entirety of your life force onto a single point of impact. Most people's energy is like a light bulb. It glows in all directions but can't burn through anything. Your energy in the blackout is like a laser. It is concentrated, coherent, and capable of cutting through the thickest steel. You are no longer trying to change, you are accelerating through the resistance. This intensity is what makes the 180 possible. You are condensing a decade of evolution into 6 months of pure, unadulterated execution. In the blackout, you will encounter the beauty of the void. At first, the silence will feel heavy and uncomfortable, or you will feel the phantom limb of your old social life. But eventually, the discomfort will transform into a high-level clarity. You will begin to see the world as it actually is, not as you were told it was. You will see the patterns of power, the mathematics of value, and the geography of opportunity. This naked vision is only available to those who are willing to walk away from the crowd. You are becoming a sovereign mind. You are no longer looking for answers outside of yourself. You are generating them through your own labor. You realize that the solitude you feared is actually your greatest asset. It is the only place where you can hear the sound of your own commander's voice. As you move through this first month of the blackout, practice the daily review of the perimeter. At the end of every day, ask yourself, where did I leak energy today? Did I let a distraction through the fence? Did I engage in a conversation that served the old me? You are the guard of your own transformation. You must be ruthless with the intruders. You are protecting a new life that is currently in its most vulnerable stage. By maintaining the blackout with a surgical precision, you ensure that when you finally re-emerge in 6 months, you won't just be better, you will be unrecognizable. You have entered the dark, the world is behind you, and the new you is ahead. There are no mirrors here, only the work. The clock is ticking. You are in the 180-day war, and you are currently winning by the simple act of vanishing. Chapter 2. The geometry of the 180. The blackout has begun. You have silenced the world, but now you must confront the math of your own transformation. Most people approach self-change like a painter, throwing random colors at a canvas, hoping a masterpiece emerges by accident. They call this trying their best. You are not here to try, you are here to engineer. To change everything in 6 months, you must master the geometry of the 180. This is the realization that your life is not a series of random events, but a structural consequence of your daily angles. If you change your trajectory by only 1 degree today, you will be in a different zip code in a month and a different galaxy in 6. But to achieve a total reversal, a 180-degree turn, you cannot rely on small tweaks. You must perform a structural inversion. You are flipping the script on your habits, your finances, and your physical state. So you are moving from a linear growth mindset to an exponential leap. The first angle of the 180 is the inversion of routine. Look at your old life. It was likely characterized by reactive living. You woke up to an alarm you hated, reacted to emails you didn't want to read, and spent your evenings recovering from a day that didn't serve you. You were a passenger in your own skin. To flip the geometry, you must adopt proactive command. You don't start your day, you attack it. You move the most difficult, high-leverage tasks to the earliest hours when your decision capital is at its peak. You treat your morning as a sacred war room. While the rest of the world is still dreaming or scrolling, you are already 2 hours into your deep work, your physical training, or your strategic planning. By winning the first 3 hours of the day, you create a geometric advantage that makes the rest of the day an inevitable victory. You are no longer chasing the clock, you are the one who set the pace. Consider the calculus of high-value skills. To change your financial and professional reality in 180 days, you cannot simply work harder at a low-leverage job. That is linear math, and it leads to burnout, not a 180. You must identify the pivot points of your industry, the rare, difficult skills that carry a multiplier effect. These are the skills that, once mastered, make everything else easier or unnecessary. If you are in sales, it is the psychology of high-stakes closing. If you are in tech, it is the architecture of scalable systems. If you are an artist, it is the mastery of viral storytelling. Or you must dedicate 4 hours of every blackout day to the obsessive acquisition of these skills. You are not learning, you are weaponizing. You realize that in the modern economy, a generalist is a commodity, but a specialist with leverage is a sovereign. By the end of 6 months, your market value should be unrecognizable to the person who started this journey. You are building a competence moat that no one can cross. The second angle of the 180 is the physical reconstruction. Your body is the hardware through which your life is processed. If the hardware is sluggish, the new software of your ambition will glitch. Most people treat fitness as an aesthetic choice. They want to look good. For you, physical intensity is a neurochemical requirement. You are using exercise to flood your brain with the dopamine, or the endorphins and BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, required for high-speed learning and decision-making. You must adopt a Spartan protocol. This isn't about getting in shape, it is about hardening the vessel. You push your body to the point of structural failure daily to teach your mind that comfort is an illusion and fatigue is a suggestion. When you can command your body to perform under extreme stress, you gain the physical confidence to command your reality. You move with a different gravity. People sense the density of a person who has mastered their own biology. Furthermore, you must master the mathematics of social elimination. In the blackout, your social geometry changes from a wide, shallow circle to a narrow, deep point. You must perform a relational inversion. The old you sought belonging, the desire to be liked by the many. The new you seeks alignment, the desire to be respected by the few. You realize that average people have average conversations that lead to average results. To achieve a 180, you must stop participating in the collective mediocrity. You stop answering the texts that lead nowhere. You stop attending the events that offer no growth. You become socially expensive. Your time is the most valuable asset you own, and you treat it with a miserly precision. You are not being mean, you are being strategic. You are saving your energy for the people who are also in a 180-degree rebuild. You are looking for value-add relationships only. The third angle is the audit of the internal narrative. This is where the 180-degree turn is truly won or lost. The old you had a narrative of limitation. You told yourself stories about why you couldn't, why it was too late, or why you weren't that kind of person. This was your psychological braking system. To change everything, you must perform a semantic shift. You move from the language of wishing to the language of decreeing. You don't want to be successful, you are executing the plan for success. You don't try to be disciplined, you are disciplined. This is not manifestation nonsense, this is identity engineering. Your brain is a goal-seeking mechanism. If you feed it a narrative of struggle, it will find struggle. If you feed it a narrative of inevitable mastery, it will find the levers of power. You must guard your internal dialogue as if it were the control code of a nuclear reactor. One slip of the tongue, one moment of self-pity, and you risk a meltdown. In the geometry of the 180, you will encounter the inflection point. This usually happens around month 3. You have been working in the dark, you have been disciplined, and you have been isolated, but the massive results haven't appeared yet. This is the valley of disappointment. The old you would have quit here, citing a lack of results. But you understand the law of lagging indicators. Your current life is the result of your habits from 6 months ago. Your new life is still in the incubation phase. You must trust the calculus of consistency. You don't look at the scoreboard, you look at the execution log. If you are hitting your numbers, I'm doing the work and maintaining the blackout, the 180-degree turn is mathematically guaranteed. You are like a plane on a runway, you are gaining speed, and even though you haven't left the ground yet, the lift is inevitable. Furthermore, you must develop selective ignorance. To change everything, you must stop caring about things that don't matter. You stop following the news, you stop caring about celebrity drama, and you stop worrying about the state of the world. You realize that the only world you can actually change is the 6-foot radius around your own body. You focus all your computational power on your own mission. This intellectual narrowing makes you incredibly effective. And while everyone else is broad and shallow, you are narrow and deep. You are a specialist in your own success. This focus is the magnifying glass that sets the paper on fire. As you conclude this stage of the geometry, perform a structural audit. Draw a line down the middle of a page. On the left, list the habits of the old you. On the right, list the polar opposite habit for the new you. If the old you slept in, the new you rises at dawn. If the old you spent, the new you saves. If the old you spoke, the new you listens. This is your 180 blueprint. You are no longer improving, you are inverting. You are becoming the anti-version of your past failure. You are now 3 dimensions into the reconstruction. You have the blackout protocol for protection and the geometry of the 180 for direction. And you are no longer a victim of gravity, you are the pilot of your own trajectory. The 180-degree turn is halfway complete. You are in the crucible of change, and the new you is beginning to harden. Chapter 3. The Physics of High-Intensity Execution. You have the blackout for protection and the geometry for direction, but now you must confront the force required to move the mass of your old life. To change everything in 6 months, you must master the physics of high-intensity execution. Most people treat their goals like a hobby, something they do when the mood strikes or when the energy is high. This is why they fail. They are operating on the emotional model of achievement. You are moving to the mechanical model. You realize that transformation is not about wanting it more, and it is about the accumulation of kinetic energy. In physics, work is defined as force multiplied by displacement. If you are not moving the needle every single day, you are not doing work. You are just vibrating in place. To achieve a 180-degree turn in 180 days, you must become a high-velocity operator. The first law of your new physics is the law of inertia. An object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion. Your old life has a massive amount of static inertia. It wants to stay exactly where it is. The hardest part of the 6 months is the first 30 days, where you are trying to move a dead weight. And this is where most people quit because the effort feels vastly disproportionate to the result. You must understand that you are not working for a result yet, or you are working for momentum. You must push against the resistance with a relentless consistency until the wheels start to turn. Once you are in motion, the physics change. It becomes easier to stay disciplined than it is to stop. You are building behavioral velocity. By the 3rd month, your habits should be so heavy and so fast that a single bad day can't stop you. You are no longer pushing the car, you are the engine. Consider the principle of thermal limit. In engineering, a machine can only run as fast as its ability to dissipate heat. In your 180-day war, heat is stress, fatigue, and cognitive load. Most people burn out because they try to go 100% redline without a cooling system. To maintain high-intensity execution, you must master active recovery. This is not laziness, which it is strategic maintenance. You treat your sleep, your nutrition, and your mental downtime as part of the work. You don't sleep because you're tired. You sleep so you can execute at maximum wattage tomorrow. You move from passive rest, scrolling, drinking, distracting, to high-yield recovery, breathwork, mobility, deep silence. By managing your thermal limit, you can stay in the high-intensity zone longer than anyone else. You are an endurance machine disguised as a human being. The second law is the inverse square law of distraction. The further you move away from your core mission, the more your power dissipates. If you are focused on 10 things, you are 1% effective at each. If you are focused on one vital objective, you are 100% effective. High-intensity execution requires monastic singularity. You must identify the lead domino of your transformation, the one thing that, if achieved, makes everything else easier or irrelevant. For these 6 months, that domino is your North Star. You filter every invitation, every new idea, and every impulse through this lens. Does this accelerate my lead domino? If the answer isn't a hell yes, it is a hard no. You are narrowing your aperture to increase your brightness. You are a point of concentrated force. Furthermore, you must master the physics of compression. To change everything in 6 months, you must learn to compress time. This is the art of extreme productivity. You move from time-based work to task-based sprints. You don't sit at a desk for 8 hours. You sit at a desk to complete 3 high-leverage milestones. You use Parkinson's law to your advantage. You give yourself aggressive, impossible deadlines to force your brain into a state of hyper-focus. When you have 2 hours to do a 4-hour task, your brain stops overthinking and starts executing. You are cutting out the fluff of your day. You are looking for the minimum effective dose of effort required for maximum impact. You are becoming surgically efficient. In the physics of execution, you will encounter the resistance, also known as entropy. The world naturally trends toward chaos. Your car will break, a family emergency will happen, or a client will quit. The old you used these as exit ramps, valid excuses to stop the 180. The new you sees these as friction coefficients. In physics, a friction generates heat and tests the strength of the material. You use these setbacks to test the integrity of your new systems. When chaos hits, you don't pause the 180, you adapt the execution. You find a way to hit your numbers in the midst of the storm. This builds anti-fragile momentum. You realize that a discipline that only works when things are perfect is not discipline, it's a hobby. Real power is the ability to maintain velocity in a headwind. The third law is the law of resultant forces. Your life is the sum of all forces acting upon it. If you have 5 positive habits but 3 negative anchors, your net movement is slow. To change everything, you must zero out the anchors. You cannot outwork a bad diet, a toxic relationship, or a gambling addiction. High-intensity execution requires a total cleanse. You must identify the drag in your life, the habits or people that pull you backward, and cut them loose with a cold finality. You are looking for net positive trajectory. Every ounce of energy must be aligned in the same direction. When your physical training, your deep work, your financial discipline, and your internal narrative are all vector-aligned, your acceleration becomes terrifying. You are no longer a person, you are a projectile. As you conclude this chapter on physics, perform a power audit. Look at your last 24 hours. How much actual work, force times displacement, did you do? How much was just friction, worrying, planning, talking? You must increase your duty cycle, the percentage of time spent in active, high-intensity execution. You are moving from a low-voltage existence to a high-tension reality. You are proving that 180 days is more than enough time to change the world, provided you are willing to apply the maximum force required to move the mass. You are now the master of the mechanics. You have the protocol, the geometry, and the physics. You are no longer hoping for a change. You are forcing it into existence through the sheer weight of your execution. You are in the power phase of the 180. The old version of you is being crushed under the kinetic energy of the new. Chapter 4. The Psychology of the 180-Day Siege. You have mastered the blackout, mapped the geometry, and harnessed the physics of execution. But now, you must enter the most dangerous theater of the war, the 6-month siege of your own mind. As to change everything in 180 days is not just a logistical challenge, it is a psychological trench war. Most people fail at the halfway mark because they treat transformation like a sprint or a marathon. It is neither. It is a siege. In a siege, the goal is not to win a single glorious battle, but to outlast the resistance through a slow, methodical strangulation of your old self. The old you is currently huddled behind the fortifications of your comfort zone, waiting for you to get tired, bored, or lonely. It is waiting for the initial hype to wear off so it can reclaim the throne. To win the 180, you must develop the psychology of the inevitable. The first law of the siege is the deconstruction of novelty. In the first 30 days, you were fueled by adrenaline and the fantasy of change. Everything was new, and the novelty provided a false high. But by day 60 or 90, the novelty evaporates. The 5 a.m. workouts are no longer epic. They are just cold and dark. The deep work is no longer inspiring. It is just a grind. This is the slump of the mundane. This is where 90% of people retreat. To survive the siege, you must fall in love with the boredom of mastery. You must move from excitement to stoic neutrality. You don't do the work because it feels good. You do it because it is the basal rate of your existence. You realize that success is simply the accumulation of boring repetitions executed with perfect precision. You are not looking for a high, you're looking for stability. Consider the isolation of the commander. In a 180-day blackout, you will encounter a profound sense of solitude. The world is moving on without you. Your friends are having fun. Your colleagues are taking the easy path, and the collective noise is whispering that you are missing out. This is FOMO, fear of missing out, as a weapon of the old self. To maintain the siege, you must perform a values inversion. You don't miss the party, you pity the person who needs the party to feel alive. You don't envy the person sleeping in. You revere the person who has the strength to rise. You are building a private pride. You realize that the price of admission to the top 1% is the willingness to be misunderstood and alone for a season. Your solitude is not a void, it is a buffer zone that protects your new identity from the emotional contagion of the masses. You are the sovereign of your own company. The second law of the siege is the management of the internal traitor. Every human has an internal saboteur, a part of the brain that is hardwired for safety and consensus. During the 180 days, this traitor will use rationalization to try and break the siege. It will say, "You've worked hard, you deserve a break," or "one day won't matter," or "you're becoming too obsessive." This is not balance, it is infiltration. To win, you must develop psychological compartmentalization. You treat these thoughts as enemy propaganda. You don't argue with the traitor, you starve it. You realize that balance is a luxury for those who have already arrived. For those in a 180-degree rebuild, obsession is the only tool that works. You must be unbalanced for 180 days to create a new balance for the rest of your life. Furthermore, you must master the psychology of small wins. In a siege, you don't look at the final fortress, you look at the next inch of ground. If you only focus on the end result, the wealth, the body, the status, you will be overwhelmed by the distance. You must learn to derive maximum satisfaction from the daily micro-victory. Did you hit your wake-up time? Win? Did you complete your deep work block? Win. Did you stick to your nutrition plan? Win. By stacking these tiny, undeniable truths, you build a momentum of competence. You are proving to your subconscious, second by second, that you are a person who does what they say. This internal credibility is the foundation of the new self. What you are no longer hoping to be different. You have the receipts of your own discipline. In the psychology of the 180, you will encounter the identity crisis. Around month 4, the old you is mostly dead, but the new you hasn't fully hardened yet. You are in the liminal space. You don't fit in your old life, but you don't feel successful in the new one yet. This is where imposter syndrome hits the hardest. You must see this as the shedding of the skin. It is a good sign. It means the old identity no longer has a grip on you. You must double down on your visible markers of progress. Look at your data, your bank account, your physique, and your output. These are the hard facts that refute the soft lies of your insecurity. You are not faking it. Either you are forging it. You are occupying the space of the person you have become until the space feels natural. The third law is the philosophy of radical ownership. To maintain the siege, you must eliminate the concept of luck from your vocabulary. If you have a bad day, it is your fault. If you get distracted, it is your fault. If the world throws a curveball, it is your responsibility to hit it. By taking 100% ownership of the 180 days, you gain 100% control. If the world is the cause of your success, you are a slave to the world. If you are the cause of your success, you are a god of your own universe. This heavy responsibility is the only thing that keeps the siege moving forward when the motivation dies. You move because you commanded yourself to move, and you are the only authority you recognize. Okay, as you conclude this chapter on psychology, perform a mental fortification. Look at your exit ramps. The things that usually make you quit: stress, boredom, social pressure. For each one, write a siege protocol. If I feel bored, I will action. If I feel lonely, I will action. You are pre-deciding your reactions so you don't have to think when the pressure is high. You are turning your mind into a hardened bunker. You are now 2/3 of the way through the 180-day war. The old you is starving behind the walls, and the new you is beginning to take command of the field. You have the protocol, the math, the physics, and the mental toughness. You are no longer changing, you are dominating the timeline. Chapter 5. The Financial and Professional 180. You have stabilized the mind and hardened the body. But now you must confront the external scoreboard. To change everything in 6 months, you must perform a surgical inversion of your economic reality. Most people view money and career as things that happen to them, a series of paychecks, promotions, or layoffs dictated by a mysterious market. This is the consumer mindset. It is reactive, dependent, and fragile. To achieve a 180, you must move to the producer mindset. You must realize that wealth is not a salary. It is a resultant force of the value you provide and the leverage you command. In these 180 days, you are not just working harder at a job, you are re-engineering your economic utility. You are turning yourself into a high-value asset that the market cannot ignore. Or the first law of the Financial 180 is the law of value over time. The old you traded time for money. This is the most inefficient trade in human history because time is finite. To change your reality, you must trade value for money. You must ask the brutal question: if I disappeared tomorrow, how long would it take for the market to replace me? If the answer is a week, you have no leverage. You are a commodity. Your mission in the blackout is to acquire rare and valuable skills that create a replacement gap. You identify the high-income skills, copywriting, high-ticket sales, data architecture, strategic negotiation, or specialized technical mastery, and you obsess over them. You aren't reading about these skills, you are training in them. By month 6, you should be able to solve problems that 99% of your peers cannot even identify. This is how you move from begging for a raise to dictating the terms. Consider the architecture of the war chest. In a 180-day transformation, your spending habits must undergo a catastrophic correction. Most people are lifestyle's slaves. Every time their income goes up, their needs, which are actually wants, go up to meet it. They are running on a treadmill of status signaling. To achieve a 180, you must adopt financial minimalism. You strip your life down to the operational core. You cut the subscriptions, the social dining, the retail therapy, and the status toys. You are not being cheap, and you are capitalizing your revolution. Every dollar you save is a freedom unit. You are building a war chest that gives you fuck you money, the ability to walk away from a toxic boss, a dead-end contract, or a mediocre opportunity. Financial sovereignty is the fuel of the 180. Without it, you are just a disciplined slave. The second law is the principle of professional visibility. It is not enough to be good in the dark. You must be undeniable in the light. The old you waited to be noticed. You hoped your hard work would eventually be rewarded. The new you understands strategic signaling. You must position your new skills where they can be seen by the decision makers and the value creators. This is not networking, which is usually just average people begging for favors, but this is magnetism. You document your work, you share your insights, and you demonstrate your proof of work publicly. You create a digital portfolio of excellence. When you re-emerge, you don't apply for jobs, you attract offers. You are building a personal monopoly. You want to be the only person who does exactly what you do the way you do it. This scarcity is the primary driver of high market value. Furthermore, you must master the mathematics of opportunity. To change your professional life, you must stop saying yes to low-probability tasks. The old you was a people pleaser, taking on every project just to feel busy. The new you is a strategic essentialist. You realize that 80% of your professional results come from 20% of your activities. You must aggressively prune the low-value tasks, so you focus all your execution power on the big moves. Shout the projects that have asymmetric upside. If an activity doesn't have the potential to 10 times your income or your influence, it is a distraction. You are looking for the leverage points. You are moving from activity to impact. You are a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. In the financial 180, you will encounter the trap of the golden handcuffs. As you start to see results, a better job, a side hustle that takes off, or a promotion, the world will offer you more comfort. It will try to lure you into a higher level of mediocrity. You must resist the urge to upgrade your life before you have solidified your legacy. You maintain the blackout standard of living until your war chest is large enough to fund your permanent freedom. You treat your first wins as ammunition, not rewards. You reinvest your profit into your own skills, your own tools, and your own network. You are playing the long game. You realize that the goal is not to look rich, it is to be sovereign. The third law is the ethics of the deal. To change your professional reality, you must move from a zero-sum mindset to a positive-sum mindset. The old you thought that for you to win, someone had to lose. This is a small mind trap, and the new you looks for strategic alignment. You look for ways to make your success profitable for others. When you solve a massive problem for a client or a company, you aren't taking money, you are capturing value you created. By making yourself the most valuable person in the room, you eliminate the need for politics. You don't need to play the game when you are the one writing the rules. Your competence is your political capital. You move with the confidence of a person who knows they are the highest ROI asset in the environment. As you conclude this chapter on finances and career, perform a value audit. Look at your current income. Now look at the value you actually provided to the market in the last 30 days. Is there a gap? If you are underpaid, and it is because you haven't signaled your value effectively, or you haven't upgraded your skills to the next level. Write down the 3 rare skills you will master in the next 90 days. Calculate your burn rate and see how much freedom you can buy by cutting the fat. You are no longer working for a living, you are engineering a fortune. You are now entering the final stretch of the 180-day war. You have the mind, the body, the physics, and the economic machinery to win. The world is starting to notice the change, but you stay in the blackout. You don't celebrate until the 180 is complete. You are in the conversion phase. The old life is bankrupt, and the new empire is being funded. Chapter 6. The final month, the re-emergence, and the integration. You are now entering the kill zone of the 180-day war. As you have survived the isolation, the physical hardening, and the economic retooling, you are 150 days into the blackout, and the person who started this journey is a distant, flickering memory. But this final month is the most dangerous phase of the entire protocol. Most people, sensing the finish line, begin to relax prematurely. They leak their energy, they start telling people about their transformation, and they lose the operational edge that got them here. To change everything in 6 months, you must treat the final 30 days not as a celebration, but as the high-pressure integration. This is where you move from the laboratory to the field. You are not just coming back, you are reoccupying your reality with a new set of laws. Well, the first law of the final month is the law of selective visibility. You are ending the blackout, but you are not ending the privacy of the mission. You re-emerge into the social and professional world with a surgical precision. You don't announce your change, you demonstrate it. When you walk into a room, you don't talk about the 5 a.m. runs or the deep work sessions. You simply carry the physical and mental density that those habits created. You speak less, you listen more, and you observe the old environment with the eyes of a stranger. You will notice that the people who knew you before will try to pull you back into your old gravity. They will use the same jokes, the same complaints, and the same expectations. You must maintain your sovereign frame. You are a new substance in an old solution. You don't react. You influence. You are the fixed point around which the room must now rotate. Consider the integration of the high-value asset. In this final month, you must execute the professional strike you have been preparing for. You take the rare and valuable skills you acquired in the dark and you deploy them for impact. This is the moment you negotiate the new contract, launch the new venture, or demand the new terms of your involvement. You move with the confidence of the prepared. You aren't hoping for a result. You are claiming the market value you have created. You realize that the world is a value exchange mechanism, and you are now the most liquid asset in your environment. You don't seek permission to lead. You simply lead by competence. This is the 180 in its physical form, moving from a person who asks to a person who commands. The second law is the cremation of the safety net. To ensure that the 180-degree turn is permanent, you must make it impossible to go back. You must burn the ships on the shore of your old life. This might mean resigning from a mediocre role, ending a relationship that anchors you to your past, or making a financial commitment that requires your new level of performance to sustain. This is the psychological point of no return. When you eliminate the exit ramps, your brain accepts the new reality as the only reality. You are no longer trying out a new lifestyle. You are living a new fate. You move from the stress of change to the grace of mastery. You realize that comfort is no longer a goal. It is a red flag that signals decay. You have fallen in love with the high-performance baseline. Furthermore, you must master the art of the long-term protocol. As the 180 days conclude, you must realize that the war never truly ends. It just moves to a maintenance phase. You don't go back to your old habits. You take the high-intensity execution of the last 6 months and you institutionalize it. You turn your sprint into a sustainable standard. You define your non-negotiables, the wake-up time, the deep work blocks, the physical training, and you make them the automatic code of your life. You are no longer fighting for discipline, you are discipline. You realize that the 180 was just the ignition phase of a rocket that is now in orbit. You have achieved escape velocity from your old self. In the final month, you will encounter the temptation of arrogance. You look at the people around you who are still distracted, still complaining, and still mediocre, and you feel a sense of superiority. You must suppress the ego. Arrogance is a leak in your power. Real sovereignty is quiet. You don't need to look down on others to feel high. You are focused on your own vertical growth. You treat your new strength as a responsibility, not a trophy. You become a silent leader. You help the worthy, you ignore the critics, and you maintain your operational intensity in silence. And you realize that the greatest flex is not telling people how much you've changed. It's living a life they can't explain. The third law is the philosophy of the continuous rebuild. You have changed everything in 6 months, but you realize that everything is a moving target. The world will change, the market will shift, and your own ambitions will expand. To maintain your 180, you must remain anti-fragile. You treat every new challenge as a mini blackout. You maintain the ability to go dark, to retool, and to re-emerge even stronger. You are a perpetual work in progress. You have mastered the technology of change. You are no longer afraid of starting over because you know the geometry and physics of the process. You are the architect of the void. As you conclude this 180-day journey and perform the final inventory, look at the person who started this on day 1. Look at their fears, their bank account, their body, and their mind. Now look at the person standing here today. The change is not subjective. It is measurable and undeniable. You have given yourself 6 months to change everything, and you have delivered. You have proven that time is a tool that belongs to the sovereign mind. You are no longer in the war. You are the victor. You have the mind of a commander, the body of a warrior, and the economic leverage of a producer. You have rebuilt yourself alone, and now you are ready to own the world that you have engineered. The blackout is over. The light is hitting the new you. Step into it with the calm, unblinking eye of the master. The 180 is complete. Your life begins today. To Chapter 7, The Sovereign Ecosystem. The 180-day war has been won. and the smoke of your old life has cleared. You have re-emerged into the world not as a better version of a consumer, but as a sovereign producer. However, the final challenge of change is not achieving the new life, it is protecting the frequency. Most people who undergo a radical transformation eventually snap back to their old level because they try to plant a high-value tree in low-value soil. They keep the same friends, live in the same cluttered spaces, and entertain the same mediocre inputs. To change everything permanently, you must build a sovereign ecosystem. This is the intentional engineering of your entire environment to ensure that excellence is no longer an effort, but the default setting of your reality. Tika, you are moving from self-discipline to environmental design. The first law of the sovereign ecosystem is the sanctity of the input. Your brain is a processing plant. If you feed it sludge, negative news, low IQ entertainment, gossip, it will produce sludge, anxiety, distraction, small-mindedness. To maintain your 180, you must become the librarian of your own consciousness. You treat your information diet with the same surgical precision as your nutrition. You only allow high-signal inputs into your field. You follow the masters, you read the primary sources, and you engage with the hard truths of your craft. You realize that your attention is the primary currency of the modern world, and you refuse to spend it on anything that doesn't offer a compound return. You are building a cognitive fortress. By the time a distraction reaches your awareness, it should already be filtered out by the high standards of your ecosystem. Consider the geography of power. Your physical environment is a silent coach that is constantly whispering instructions to your subconscious. If your home is a place of passive consumption, you will consume. If it is a place of active production, you will produce. You must architect your space for the new you. This means creating zones of intent. You have a deep work zone where the only possible action is focus. You have a recovery zone where the only possible action is high-level rest. You have a physical zone where the only possible action is intensity. Can you eliminate the visual friction, the clutter, the remotes, the lazy triggers that once anchored you to the old you? Your environment should be so well designed that it feels harder to fail than to succeed. You are no longer fighting your surroundings, you are being carried by them. The second law is the curation of the human network. This is the most brutal part of the permanent 180. You must realize that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, not just in income, but in ambition, integrity, and reality. To maintain your new frequency, you must perform a relational audit. You look at your inner circle and you ask, does this person challenge my growth? Or do they comfort my stagnation? If a relationship is based on shared history rather than shared future, it is a dead weight. You are not deleting people out of hate, you are repositioning them out of self-respect. You seek out these sovereign peers, the people who make you feel like a beginner again. You want to be the smallest person in the room so that your only option is to expand. Your network is your external nervous system. Choose the cells wisely. Furthermore, you must master the automation of the routine. The old you used willpower to get things done. Willpower is a finite resource that depletes throughout the day. The new you uses systems. You automate every repetitive, low-value decision in your life. You batch your tasks, you meal prep your energy, and you schedule your non-negotiables. When you move from choosing to be disciplined to being disciplined by design. By month 7, your morning routine, your work blocks, and your physical training should be as automatic as breathing. This frees up your mental bandwidth for the high-level creative problems and the strategic opportunities that will define your next level of growth. You are no longer managing your life. you are operating your machine. In the sovereign ecosystem, you will encounter the trap of the comfort plateau. Because you have changed so much in 6 months, you will feel successful compared to your past. This is the siren song of the good enough. You must realize that success is a moving goalpost. To stay sovereign, you must build self-correcting mechanisms into your ecosystem. And you set quarterly blackouts where you retreat to retool and reevaluate. You maintain a growth log where you track your rate of learning, not just your rate of earning. You realize that the world is always trending toward entropy. And if you are not actively building, you are passively decaying. You maintain a healthy paranoia regarding your own comfort. You treat a week of ease as a system warning. The third law is the responsibility of the sovereign. Now that you have rebuilt yourself, you must realize that your ecosystem is not just for you, it is for the impact you are destined to make. You are no longer a consumer of the world, you are a provider of order. You use your strength to stabilize your family, your competence to lead your industry, and your vision to inspire the worthy. And your legacy is the standard you set for everyone who enters your field. You realize that true sovereignty is the ability to protect and provide without being dependent. You are the anchor of your own world. Your ecosystem is the foundation upon which a greater future will be built. As you conclude this final month of the 6-month change, perform a system stress test. Identify the one external event that could most easily break your new habits. Now, engineer a fail-safe into your ecosystem to prevent that breakage. You are no longer hoping to stay changed. You are ensuring it through the physics of your environment. You have given yourself 6 months to change everything, and you have ended by changing the world that surrounds you. And you are no longer a person trying to be better. You are a sovereign system in a state of continuous excellence. The 180 is not a chapter in your life. It was the birth of a new reality. The blackout is gone. The geometry is fixed. The physics are in motion. Welcome to your new life. Chapter 8. The Power of Radical Responsibility. You have built the ecosystem, but now you must face the final psychological integration, the death of the excuse. To change everything in 6 months is to move from a life of effect to a life of cause. Most people spend their entire existence as victims of their circumstances, their upbringing, the economy, their boss, or their luck. This is the victim narrative, and it is the ultimate anchor of the old self. To achieve a 180-degree turn, you must adopt the principle of radical responsibility. This is the terrifying and liberating realization that you are the sole architect of your current reality. If you are broke, it is your fault. If you are out of shape, it is your fault. If you are disrespected, it is because you have permitted it. By taking 100% ownership of the bad, you gain 100% authority to create the good. The first law of radical responsibility is the elimination of the external villain. The old you needed someone to blame to justify your stagnation. You blamed the system, your genes, or your timing. In the blackout, you must perform an internal audit of blame. You realize that every time you point a finger outward, you are giving away your power. You are saying, that person or thing has more control over my life than I do. To change everything, you must reclaim the gavel. You stop looking for justice and start looking for leverage. You don't ask, why did this happen to me? You ask, how did I allow this and how will I fix it? This shift in questioning moves your brain from defensive stress to problem-solving power. You are no longer a subject of the world. You are the chief executive officer of your own existence. Consider the mirror of results. Your life is a perfect reflection of your current standards. The world does not give you what you want, it gives you what you tolerate. If you tolerate a mediocre body, you will have one. If you tolerate a low-value social circle, you will stay in it. To achieve a 180, you must raise the floor. You move from hoping for the best to refusing the average. You realize that your current results are the hard data of your past choices. Instead of being hurt by this data, you use it as a strategic map. You look at the gap between where you are and where you want to be, and you treat that gap as a technical problem to be solved through intensity and execution. You are the source code of your results. If you want a different output, you must change the input. The second law is the ethics of the self-correction. In a 180-day war, you will make mistakes. You will miss a workout, you will lose a deal, or you will have a moment of weakness. The old you used these slips as permission to quit, the what the hell effect. And the new you practices immediate, radical ownership. You don't hide the mistake, you don't rationalize it, and you don't wait until Monday to restart. You own it instantly, you analyze the failure point, and you course correct in real time. You realize that perfection is a trap, but consistency is a requirement. By taking responsibility for your failures as loudly as your successes, you build an unshakable integrity. You trust yourself because you know you will never lie to the person in the mirror. You are a self-governing system. Furthermore, you must master the responsibility of the future. Most people are historians of their own misery. They focus on what was or what could have been. To change everything, you must become an architect of the inevitable. You take responsibility for the version of you that exists 6 months from now. You treat that person as a client you cannot fail. Every action you take today is a deposit or a withdrawal from that person's life. When you feel like quitting, you ask, does the person I am becoming deserve to inherit the mess I am making today? This intertemporal responsibility is the highest form of discipline. You are no longer working for yourself. You are working for the legacy of the person you have decided to become. You are the godfather of your own potential. In the state of radical responsibility, you will encounter the silence of the world. When you stop complaining and start executing, people will stop pitying you. How you will lose the social validation that comes from being a victim. This is the isolation of power. You must realize that pity is a low-value currency. You don't want people to feel bad for you, you want them to respect you. You trade the comfort of the crowd for the authority of the sovereign. You move with a quiet gravity. You don't need to tell people you are in charge. They can feel the weight of a person who has taken total responsibility for their own gravity. You are the fixed point in a world of moving shadows. The third law is the multiplication of influence. Once you take 100% responsibility for yourself, you gain the moral authority to lead others. Do you realize that you cannot change the world until you have changed your 6-foot radius? By mastering your own economy, body, and mind, you become a point of order in a chaotic system. Your sovereignty becomes a standard that others are drawn to. You don't fix people. You command excellence by the sheer force of your example. You realize that the greatest contribution you can make to humanity is to be a person who doesn't need help. You move from being a consumer of resources to a generator of value. Your responsibility expands from the self to the system. As you conclude this chapter, perform a blame purge. Write down the 3 things in your life you are most unhappy with. Next to each one, write, "This is my fault because," and list the specific choices that led to that result. Now, or write, "I am the only one who can fix this by," and list the 180-degree action. This is the contract of the sovereign. You have given yourself 6 months to change everything, and you have realized that the only permission you ever needed was your own. You are no longer a victim of fate. You are the author of the script. The old you is dead, buried under the weight of your own ownership. The new you is standing on the foundation of radical responsibility. The 180 is not a gift, it is a claim. Chapter 9. The Sovereign Mindset, the Final Philosophy. You have mastered the blackout, the physics, and the responsibility. You have re-engineered your finances and hardened your vessel. But as you enter the final stretch of these 6 months, you must undergo the most profound shift of all, the transition from doing to being. Most people treat self-growth as a temporary software update. They run the program for a while, get a few results, and then revert to their factory settings. To change everything permanently, you must undergo a hardware replacement. You must adopt the sovereign mindset. This is the realization that you are no longer a person trying to change. You are a force of nature that has already shifted. You move from the anxiety of becoming to the certainty of having arrived. This is the final philosophy that ensures the 180-degree turn is not a phase but a new destiny. The first law of the sovereign mindset is the dissolution of the social mirror. The old you was a reflection. You defined your value based on the feedback of the crowd, the likes, the compliments, the promotions, and the nods of approval. This made you a slave to external validation. If the world didn't applaud, you felt invisible. In the sovereign mindset, the only mirror is the mission. You stop looking for permission to be powerful. You realize that public opinion is a lagging indicator of your private excellence. You develop a clinical indifference to both praise and criticism. If you are winning, you don't need a parade. If you are losing, you don't need a funeral. You are the sole judge of your own integrity. This internal validation makes you unmanipulatable. You are no longer a character in other people's stories. You are the author of your own. Consider the architecture of the eternal now. The old you lived in the waiting room of life. You were always waiting for the 6 months to be over, waiting for the money to arrive, or waiting for the perfect moment to start. This is the procrastination of the soul. To the sovereign, there is only the operational present. You realize that the future is just a series of nows stacked on top of each other. You stop wishing for the end of the 180 days and start occupying the intensity of the current second. You bring the same level of sacred focus to a Tuesday afternoon as you would to a championship final. And by treating every moment as the final test, you eliminate the gap between your potential and your reality. You are no longer chasing a goal, you are embodying the result in real time. The second law is the principle of high-level neutrality. Most people are emotional reactors. They are happy when things go well and devastated when things go wrong. Their internal state is a yo-yo tied to external events. To achieve a 180, you must develop equanimity under fire. You realize that emotions are just data points, they are not truths. When chaos hits, you don't panic, you analyze. When success hits, you don't celebrate, you standardize, you move with a cold, unblinking clarity. This neutrality is not apathy, or it is supreme control. It allows you to see the structure of the problem while everyone else is blinded by the feeling of the problem. You are the fixed point in the storm. People will look to you not because you have all the answers, but because you are the only one who isn't shaking. Furthermore, you must master the psychology of the abundance void. The old you operated from scarcity, the fear that there wasn't enough money, enough love, or enough opportunity. This made you greedy, anxious, and small. The sovereign mindset operates from creation. You realize that opportunity is not a finite resource to be found, it is a resultant force to be generated. You stop competing for the crumbs and start baking the bread. You move from a zero-sum world to a multi-dimensional world. What this abundance is not about how much you have, it is about how much you are capable of producing. When you know you can rebuild from zero at any time, you lose the fear of loss. You become dangerous because you can't be threatened with poverty or obscurity. You are the source. In the sovereign mindset, you will encounter the paradox of the servant leader. As you become more powerful, you realize that power is not for dominance. It is for utility. The old you wanted status to feel big. The new you wants competence to be useful. You realize that the highest form of sovereignty is the ability to direct the outcome for the benefit of the mission. You lead not by force, but by inevitability. People follow you because your standard is the only one that produces result. You are not nice, or you are necessary. You are the adult in the room. By taking responsibility for the whole, you gain the authority to command the parts. Your ego has been replaced by purpose. The third law is the law of the finished work. To change everything in 6 months, you must stop trying to be a new person and start recalling that you already are. This is the psychological flip. You don't go to the gym to get fit, you go to the gym because you are an athlete, and that's what athletes do. You don't study finance to get rich, you study finance because you are a wealth builder. By shifting the identity first, the actions become automatic. You are no longer fighting against your nature, you are living out your nature. The 180-day protocol was not a transformation, and it was an exhumation of the person you were always meant to be. The old you was the abnormality. The sovereign you is the truth. As you conclude this chapter on mindset, perform the final shift. Look at your goals for the next month. Now, rewrite them as decrees. Instead of "I will try to hit my revenue target," write, "The revenue target is the inevitable result of my current operations." Move from the future tense to the present sovereign. You are no longer on a journey, you are occupying the territory. You have given yourself 6 months to change everything, and you have realized that the everything was always your perspective. You are now the master of the internal kingdom. You have the protocol, the math, the physics, the psychology, and the philosophy of power. You are no longer changing, you are reigning. The 180 is complete in the mind. The world is just a lagging indicator waiting to catch up. Chapter 10, The Sovereign Mastery, the Integration, and the Future. The 180-day war is over. The smoke has cleared, the old identity has been cremated, and you are standing on the peak of a mountain you once thought was impossible to climb. But as you breathe the thin, cold air of your new reality, you must face the final truth of the 180. Mastery is not a trophy you win. It is a state of fluid permanence. Most people treat a 6-month transformation like a diet, something they do to reach a goal so they can finally relax. But for the sovereign, relaxation is the first step toward decay. You have not finished the change, you have started the engine. To achieve sovereign mastery, you must move from the intensity of the rebuild to the grace of the operator. You are no longer fighting the world, you are conducting it. The first law of sovereign mastery is the dissolution of effort. When you started this journey, every act of discipline, the 5 a.m. wake-up, the deep work, the cold showers, was a manual task. You had to use willpower to force the gears to turn. In the state of mastery, the gears are self-lubricating. Your discipline has become your identity. You don't try to be productive, you are productive. You have reached the flow state of character. This doesn't mean life is easy, it means you have become weightless in the face of difficulty. You handle a crisis with the same neutral precision that a master craftsman handles a tool. And you have moved from cognitive load to muscle memory. You are no longer managing your life, you are inhabiting your excellence. Consider the architecture of the permanent blackout. The 180 days taught you the power of the void, but you cannot live in a basement forever. Mastery is the ability to carry the blackout into the noise of the world. You re-emerge into society, you attend the meetings, you engage in the relationships, but you maintain an internal sanctuary that no one can touch. You are in the world but not of it. You have developed a selective permeability. You allow opportunity and truth to enter your field, but you reflect the drama, the mediocrity, and the small-mindedness of the crowd. You are the fixed point in a shifting landscape. People will sense your distance, not as arrogance, but as gravitas. You are the only one in the room who isn't leaking energy. The second law is the principle of the infinite rebuild. The old you wanted to arrive. You wanted the house, the number, and the status so you could stop growing. The master realizes that arrival is the death of purpose. You treat your new life as a prototype. You are already looking for the next 180. You have mastered the technology of change, and you realize that you can apply it to any dimension of your existence. You become a perpetual revolution. You are not afraid to destroy your current success to make room for a higher order of impact. Actually realize that the world is malleable and you are the sculptor. You stay hungry not because you lack, but because you can. Your ambition is no longer anxious, it is aesthetic. You are painting on a larger canvas every year. Furthermore, you must master the responsibility of the architect. Now that you have changed everything for yourself, you must realize that you are a node of order in a chaotic system. Your sovereignty is not a private luxury, it is a public asset. You move from self-growth to systemic influence. You use your wealth to fund the truth, your competence to lead the worthy, and your discipline to stabilize the family. You realize that the highest form of power is the ability to protect and provide without being consumed. You are the guardian of the standard. By maintaining your 180-degree excellence, you force everyone in your ecosystem to either level up or fall away. You are no longer asking for a seat at the table, you are building the table. In the state of sovereign mastery, you will encounter the beauty of the mundane. The old you needed grandeur to feel successful. The master finds sublime satisfaction in the basics. You find the poetry in the perfect workout, the art in a clean spreadsheet, and the sacredness in a silent morning. You realize that life is not a destination, it is a series of operations. By bringing the spirit of the 180 to the smallest task, you turn your entire existence into a masterpiece. You are no longer waiting for the big win. You are winning every second through the quality of your attention. You have reached total presence. The third law is the legacy of the void. you realize that the greatest thing you have built in these 6 months is not your bank account or your body, it is your capacity for solitude. You know that no matter what the world takes away, the money, the status, the relationships, you can always go dark, retool, and re-emerge stronger. But this is the ultimate freedom. You are no longer afraid of the future because you have mastered the process of creation. You have proven that 6 months is all it takes to flip the universe. You carry this secret knowledge with you like a hidden weapon. You are unstoppable because you are self-generated. You are the sovereign master. As you conclude this final chapter, perform the final integration. Look at the old you one last time. Don't look with hate, look with compassion. That person was the seed that had to die so that the tree could grow. Thank them for the pain that fueled the fire. Now turn around and face the infinite horizon. You have given yourself 6 months to change everything. And you have realized that the everything was just the beginning. You are the commander of your time. You are the architect of your space. You are the sovereign of your soul. The 180 is over. The mastery begins now.